Hey guys, and welcome back to another react. Today, it's a good day, yeah? Today's a good day because we didn't use the AK. No, it's actually a good day because the Hornets got fixed, yeah? 2 Spectrum threads, a bunch of tweets, a whole lot of complaining to the Blue Names in Discord, on the Shadow Moses Discord, and, a lot of complaining on stream. Follow me on stream. But, whole lot of complaining, and finally the Hornet bugged strafes on both the tracker and the F7A Mark II is both fixed. Great news, yeah, great news. Very happy about that. Feels like we all get to return to reasonable combat. I really felt like my channel was on pause and I've just been buying time to get back to that point. Because just all PvP integrity had been completely compromised by the bug. So, very happy that that has been addressed. It's been moved forward from the .2 patch up to the .1 patch, which means we get it in our hands sooner. And yeah, very, very happy with that. Thank you, CIG. Thank you to the flight dev team that, moved the fix up sooner than later. Cool. Very cool. Huge win for us, boys. Very happy with that. But we need to talk about this video. Now, I ran into the respawn mechanics, and you guys know I love to discuss and debate the death hardcore mechanics that I'm more pro of per se than probably other content creators. And it's a really great topic. And I've discovered a new content creator. His name's Havoc, apparently, yeah? I saw like half a video earlier today. I was like, damn, this guy's good. So his videos are very much, B-roll. That's great. But it's very conversational. Exactly what I like. Videos that you can debate on and put an opinion on and stuff like that. So very cool. Looking forward to this one. It's about respawn mechanics and really death of a spaceman, yeah, which is extremely important to the soon future of the game. As it gets realized and we get closer to 4.0 and 1.0. Yeah, so let's dig in.
With the release of 3.23.1 last week and the new Ursa medevac, massive changes to medical gameplay have been made, and it seems to be an extremely controversial topic, with many taking to Spectrum to voice how unhappy they are about yet another change to the game, leaving many to wonder if Death of a Spaceman is slowly being removed in favor of a quick respawn mechanic.
Yeah, it almost feels like it is.
Now, we all know that this massive shift could fundamentally change how the game is played, but couldn't it remove a lot of the consequences when a player makes a mistake and dies in combat?
Yep.
Yeah, it could. But what if this is a permanent change, and one that might be a positive one both for now and in the future that will create even more depth to the medical gameplay? Before we get into the video, I noticed 93% of you aren't subscribed to my channel, and if you love news that's clear and concise and discussing the future of Star Citizen, and enjoy seeing all of the great sim gear and peripherals on the market, then you should definitely support the channel by smashing that subscribe button so that you stay informed on everything going on. Let's reach a goal of 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. In today's video, we'll discuss how these changes appear to be a permanent change to the respawn mechanic, and how it could ultimately affect the future of the game positively and further enhance the game. If you love Star Citizen and enjoy this type of content, smash that like button and be sure to share your thoughts in the comments of what you think of this controversial change. Your engagement with the channel helps us gauge your interest in all things Star Citizen.
Damn.
First off, we need to discuss why this change was made in the first place, as the community is pretty divided right now between this being a good and a bad thing. Some say that this is only a temporary change just for CIG to increase sales of the Ursa medevac, while others believe that this is a permanent change to cater to the quote-unquote filthy casuals. Now, I'm not so naive to believe that the Ursa medevac wasn't a reason for their decision, but I don't believe that it was the main reason. Let me explain why. As it stands now, Star Citizen has plenty of bugs that cause players to die pretty quickly. And while many of these bugs are slowly being fixed...
Oh, I hate this argument, to be honest, because you think they're ever gonna go away, like even when this is live? Like these are like issues with the engines and staircases and stuff like that. Like asteroids are always going to exist, like collision with vehicles is always going to exist. Like I despise the debate that we need to wait until the game is more fleshed out. Like do I think that CIG have a responsibility to make sure that death isn't as common as it is right now? Like, sure, like they need to do some. There needs to be a level of polish, but I hate. Oh, guys, like I really dislike the constant alpha excuse when it's like we ship marketing trailers to IGN, like. It's a live service when it comes to them making their money. It's a live service when it comes to zero NDA. It's a live service when they're getting these big content creators on Twitch. You know, like it's all live. And then it's an alpha whenever anyone needs it to suit them. I hate it. Sorry, it's just my opinion, okay? I respect you guys' opinion, but that one's mine. Regardless, I think like death has to matter, and they can't just keep putting all these mechanics on pause until the day this launches, right? Like it's need the economy now, need death of a spaceman now, need progression now, need crafting, all this, need this iterated and iterated and iterated and iterated on before 1.0. Yeah, not after, and that in some comments I've seen, it's usually from people that don't actually subscribe to me, which is great. But sometimes people will tell me they're like, there shouldn't be an economy until this is live. Then where's the iteration? Where's the balance? Where's the changes? So frustrating. I hate that idea of it, right? Like, and I know where this is going, so let's see.
Some still do exist or remain throughout patches. This causes a lot of headaches when it comes down to trying to get back to a location to finish a mission and get all of your gear back from your body. And by enabling tier 3 beds to allow players to spawn up to 20 kilometers away, this makes recovery from an untimely death so much easier. However, this largely only affects FPS missions due to the simple fact that if your ship blows up, you won't be able to respawn inside of it anyway. Nor will you have any easy way to get into a new ship without being at a landing zone.
Yeah, I don't mind the respawn mechanics, yeah. I don't mind the Ursa range respawns and stuff like that to help with FPS. And the people that have an issue with it, or like comparing it against Death of a Spaceman, it does make death very casual. And I don't, like, I'm somewhere in the middle of give me brutal consequences, but also make the game, like, relatively playable, and enjoyable at the same time without just being pain, right? So why am I okay with this mechanic? Because we already know that weapons and armor is going to have durability values, which means when you die and you res and you go to loot your gear again, it's suffered durability, and if they're smart, because they are, and they've been trending this direction with every single mechanic that they ever introduced to the damn game. Despite some of you in my comments hating Tarkov, they keep following Tarkov down that route. So you die, you lose 20% durability across the board. You're not going to get it back. Maybe you repair it, whatever. You go to your crafting station, do some repairs, and you can get it back up 10%. But you've taken permanent damage from loss. If that permanent damage on the scale is good enough, that a consequence is a consequence and a reward feels like a reward, then perfect. I'm super happy with that. But that's the key for me. Is like, I don't mind death if there is financial impact and consequences to losing. And it's not because I want people to lose, it's because I want the feeling of the game being good or winning at the game to actually feel rewarding, right? You know what the crazy thing is, guys? Bit of a tangent here, but when Summit 1G was streaming Star Citizen, right before he decided, all right, he's done playing this patch, he went on a hour-long rant. I should do a react to it, honestly, but it's just going to be like heavily edited, I guess, if I do. But he went on a 1-hour rant about having games with no risk is extremely boring. And if you want a game that doesn't have risk, really what you want is Starfield. Like, so, and I completely agree. And am I saying that every mechanic to the economy and death needs to be hardcore? No, it doesn't. But it needs to suck at times and it needs to feel great at times. And you can only do that if winning and losing is contrasting. But if winning's bubble wrapped and losing's bubble wrapped, and then everything is mediocre, right? So it's got to be separation there. And as long as they have that in the form of the economy, then I'm happy. Yeah, I don't need every time I die to a elevator incident, I have to go to my funeral proceedings, you know, with a brand new character and then start the grind all over again. Like, we don't want that, but we do want losing to suck so that winning can feel good. And I've been very persistent with that.
And as I believe that this isn't a temporary change, it could potentially remove a lot of the consequences when a player dies or is critically injured. Why go back to a station to heal a tier 1 injury when you can just backspace and respawn in a medical Pisces with no injuries and return to your body and collect all your gear? This poses the question, if the change is...
Yeah, but like sometimes the injury system, like I'm not a huge fan of the injury system, and I hate to go down the Tarkov route again, but you know, when you do major damage to limbs, like in Tarkov, you do surgery, like mid-combat surgery, and it's a lengthy process. Like if you wanted to, you know, do surgery on arms and legs to restore function to that, it's gonna take some time. Like, you know, you're gonna have to run away, start the procedure. You're looking at like a 30-second to a minute turnaround, right? But you can do it if you bring the supplies. And my understanding is you can relatively do that with some of the med gun options. I'm actually not as familiar as I should be on this, just because FPS in the P is so infrequent. But like, I don't really much care to like limp to a medical vehicle to do repairs, but I wouldn't want to see people suiciding as an easier option. Yeah, like there has to be a consequence to that. So I agree with that. But I don't have a problem with the respawn ranges using these respawn beds. If you make the effort to buy a respawn capable ship or a medical capable ship, it should be useful, yeah? As long as it doesn't nullify the consequences of losing. Yeah, that's the key.
Permanent.
For me.
How can CIG balance the ability to respawn in all beds so that there are still consequences involved where players would still be encouraged to get to a proper size med bed to heal injuries? According to CIG, the plan all along was to have medical beds and equipment use consumables that players will need to craft or buy to be able to heal injuries, revive players, and replace limbs that are beyond repair. This would be a great start to creating more depth by requiring players to prepare medical ships or ships with medical beds and further enhance the level of complexity. We also know that there are many other features that they will add to the medical gameplay, like prosthetics and DNA integrity, with things like the quality of Ibrahim spheres inside medbeds mattering, traumatic response echoes or TREs causing your characters to essentially carry over injuries in their imprint, and your imprint viability score slowly degrading each time you regenerate, ultimately causing your character to permanently expire when they've reached the end of their cycle. There are also other mechanics as well, such as wiping, where outlaws and criminals hack medical beds and delete imprints, which will prevent characters from being able to regenerate. Now, all of this information came from the Lore Maker's Guide to Regeneration in 2021, and I heavily encourage you to check that out.
Well done.
If you're interested in reading that, I'll leave a link in
the
description below.
Doing your research,
So
brother.
what would encourage players to use higher tier medical beds, or to use specialized medical ships that can handle advanced injuries? Based on the previously mentioned Guide to Regeneration, we can safely assume that CIG intends to add a mechanic where players will either need to buy or craft the Ibrahim spheres in order to use medbeds on ships, and also stock up on other medical resources to be able to treat many other injuries. It's also safe to assume that the lower tier beds may also have a significantly higher chance to cause traumatic response echoes when you regenerate, carrying your higher tier injuries to the newly regenerated body, and also could cause your imprint viability score to drastically be reduced more than a tier 1 bed.
Like, and all I do is I compare this to like what my experience will be in the future with this mechanic. And it's like, if I'm playing with an organization that's like 30 deep right now, usually we're at like 30 nowadays, and we're fighting another org, does this become a mini theaters of war, or is it a battle, right? Like, is this going to be like, if two orgs go up head to head, is it a 2-hour res fest, bring back the ship fest, and respawn deathmatch, or is it a battle where there is a end result. And that's just all going to come down to how far along the hardcore slider is death. Yeah. You know, we respawn ships in like a 2-minute, 3-minute turnaround with a next to zero impact on our UEC wallet, which is just, I hate this so bad about it. And now FPS is even more casual too, because I've done org vs org and internal training, right, where the medical Earth is at one location and a team's defending it, another team's pushing it, and the team that's defending it, even though they're dying, they are rezzing right behind the front line and running over while they're naked and picking up their loot again, and they're just using it. So it's really going to come down to like durability, I think. And I think if that is done correct, then making death more casual, and I don't want it to be too casual, but making it more casual would be okay with me. If there's financial difficulty with losing and serious financial difficulty with losing frequently. Yeah, because that's what makes games fun, is the challenge of it, like trying to get better at things and not just like surrendering to it, right? So I hope that they keep that in mind. I hope that if we are going to dial back and lose some ground away from Death of a Spaceman, then hopefully they can, I don't know, not bubble wrap the game by also introducing consequences that are significant, but maybe not as significant as Death of a Spaceman was originally promised. And I'll just quote one of the, I think it's like a lead gameplay designer, that Chad McKinney lad. He said that the game is destined to be not as to have consequences that are a little behind Tarkov. Yeah, like he directly quoted that too. Like he mentioned, we want consequences, but it won't be as deep as Tarkov, and I'm okay with it. It doesn't need to be as deep as that, but the fact that they're even talking about being anywhere near that is a good sign. And the fact that they're not, shitting on Tarkov for having terrible consequences is also a good sign. So I think the future's promising with this, and I think durability and crafting is going to be a great topic for the soon future. I'm really looking forward to when the game starts moving in that direction.
And other consumables will also be required to operate medical beds such as Biotic Corpse Regen Serum, which the cells, tissues, and organs are bioprinted from. This could possibly bring the potential for the quality of the serum to matter as well during regeneration. For example, a lower quality serum may cause your limbs to not regenerate properly, forcing you to receive prosthetic limbs.
It's like that scene from oh no, why am I forgetting it? It's like that scene from Deadpool where he's got the baby legs.
Or possibly even cause other issues when you regenerate, or cause heavy scarring. The medical gameplay in Star Citizen is easily one of the many features that I've thought was always a great one, and there are tons of other additions that CIG can make to further expand its depth and really create even more engaging gameplay with this loop alone. While some may be divided and believe that this is a bad change, or believe that this change is only temporary for a ship sale, I honestly disagree with those views. I believe that this is both a positive and also a permanent change that will instead further push the game to new heights in many ways. And between the original information from Death of a Spaceman and the more recent post from Loremaker's Guide to Regen, I believe that CIG is being very transparent in their goals for the future of the medical gameplay loop, and their intention for this to be the path forward. I think that all of these features mentioned would be a great way to support both casual and hardcore players alike, that will be a good change overall. It's uncertain as to when we will see these meaningful changes be added to the game, but I believe that when it does, we will have an even more involved medical system. The biggest question, of course, is when we may see massive changes to the medical beacons so that players are encouraged to help others that are nearby, and to finally give players who want to be a search and rescue pilot a purpose in the end. Ultimately, this is dependent on a player-to-player reputation system that allows players to give ratings to others who they interact with when using beacons, or player job postings. But as with everything in this game, we'll have to wait and see when all of these features are added. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button and let me know in the comments what pieces of medical gameplay you're looking forward to.
Yeah, so I'll put his video in the description. Cool content creator. It's so heavy on the plug. Like, he's plugging a lot. But yeah, no, I liked it. Good video, short format. I managed to triple his time, which is pretty funny. It was 6 minutes, so we're at 20 now. But that was enjoyable for me. I understand too that there's a lot to the medical profession that I'm just not invested in. So I can understand why people are frustrated, and maybe if you are in the medical loop, you can tell me what your frustration with is it, because I just don't understand. Just mainly because that role wasn't really on the path that I was going to take with this game anyways. But you know, the casual nature of losing is definitely something I despise, but I can give up ground to this given the state of the game. You know, given the future plans for death anyways with durability and stuff. So durability great. Looking very much forward to that. And more PvP is good, obviously. More everything is good. Consequences is good. But if you're more leaning on the hardcore side of things, lost a little ground with this, but it's okay. You know, the game should be somewhere between what the quote unquote, okay, I'm joking when I say this, the dirty casuals or whatever, and the, you know, nerdy hardcore guys, right? Like, it's somewhere in the middle. And yeah, okay with this. Okay with this. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Tell me about this, okay? Because this is where this crosses the channel, right? What do you guys think when you're imagining your org fighting another org and there's respawn beds behind the lines of the two groups fighting, right? There's respawn beds that you are respawning, you're picking your loot back up, and you're going back into the fight with the same kit you had. What do you guys think of that? Like, is that dumb? I don't know how I feel about that. With durability,
I would love to hear.
With durability, I'm okay with that. But how do you guys feel about that? Let me know, yeah? I'm actually curious what you guys think. And maybe you can tell me how these respawn mechanics are a thing you like or dislike, you know, and for whatever reasons, yeah? I appreciate you guys. Give me a 1, 2, 3 if you got hit this far. Hell yeah, the Hornet's fucking fixed, baby. Let's go. I'll catch you guys in the many videos to come now that PvP's fixed. Catch you guys later. Peace.